Welcome back to Politics Nation on MS Now. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy lost his bid for re-election in Louisiana on Saturday to two Trump-aligned challengers who are now headed to a runoff. Cassidy was one of the 7 Republican senators who voted to remove Trump from office after the January 6th insurrection. During his concession speech, Cassidy took a not-so-subtle jab at President Trump.
When you participate in democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But you don't pout, you don't whine, you don't claim the election was stolen.
Joining me now is my political panel, Atima Omara, a Democratic strategist, also author of The Instigators, How Black Women Have Been Essential to American Democracy and What We Can Learn from Them. Also joining me is Jeff Timmer, Senior Advisor to the Lincoln Project. Jeff, Louisiana's Senate primary has been the latest test of Trump's hold on the GOP as he recruited a challenger and urged supporters to defeat him over his impeachment vote. Although the defeat was not surprising, Trump was also successful in defeating several Indiana Republicans last month and who resisted his push to redistrict. What do you make of Trump strengthening his iron grip over the Republican Party, even as his popularity plunges with the rest of America?
Well, that's the paradox that Republican candidates find themselves in, is Trump is able to exhibit this, as you say, iron grip on the Republican voters in primaries, but that does not translate into general election success in competitive states and districts. But Bill Cassidy is a shining example of the old cliched Faustian bargain. He acted with integrity. He upheld his constitutional oath in 2021. He voted for the conviction after the impeachment of Donald Trump following January 6th and Trump's attempt to overthrow a free and fair election and seize power when he had lost the election. But Cassidy couldn't stand on his integrity and backbone that he exhibited back in 2021. He decided being a senator was more important, and he voted with Trump, tried to sweep aside his impeachment conviction and suck back up to Trump. And when you make a deal with the devil, it ends this way every single time.
Now, Atima, there's only 2 Republican senators left on the Hill who also voted to convict Trump in 2021. They are Susan Collins, who faces a tough re-election in Maine, and Lisa Murkowski in Alaska, who isn't running this year, but the other Senate spat in that state is in play. Could Republicans' blind loyalty to Trump present Democrats with an option to win back the Senate this year?
I think if there was going to be a year that was finally going to take out Senator Susan Collins, it would definitely be this year. There's just been a number of things that she's gone along with Trump on in order to save her own skin. And I do think that a Democratic candidate this year is better poised to sort of strike, especially with all of the things happening right now with tariffs, the war, the cost of living and gas and everything rising as a result of that, to actually win this election and potentially gain a seat in the Senate that we'll need.
Jeff, Trump returned from his summit in China to be met with another scandal circulating his FBI Director Kash Patel, who's facing controversy over a resurfaced snorkeling excursion that apparently used Navy SEALs and military boats to escort Patel and 9 others on what a Pentagon email called a VIP snorkel next to one of the military's most sacred sites, the underwater tomb of the USS Arizona and Pearl Harbor. The FBI has responded to the story saying that, quote, it was a historical tour to honor heroes who died, not a party. New reporting details that in his travels on FBI private aircraft, Patel has made time for side trips, including to VIP suites for events, leisure activities, or nights out with his girlfriend. And the FBI has declined to say who's paid for one of those outings. Jeff, Patel's tenure so far has been plagued with drama and controversy. In April, Politico reported that his firing could be imminent. Where does Patel stand with Trump now?
Well, it really does look like Patel has used up his 9 lives. He's been a constant embarrassment to Trump, and it takes a lot to embarrass Donald Trump, as we can tell. But Kash Patel, with this latest frat boy trip that he wanted to take, desecrating a memorial site like this for his own personal enjoyment is like, I don't know, organizing a cornhole tournament on the graves at Arlington National Cemetery. And that's the kind of thing when veterans, when military organizations, when Trump starts to lose something with them, he's going to react and he's going to get rid of Kash Patel, and he's going to bring in another lick spittle toady just like Kash Patel, who will do his bidding and protect Donald Trump and punish his enemies.
Atima, before I let you go, let's turn to redistricting. Your new book, The Instigators, How Black Women Have Been Essential to American Democracy and What We Can Learn from Them, highlights the political power and influence of black women in America. Black women in the South are facing an orchestrated campaign to limit their representation following this landmark Supreme Court decision in Louisiana earlier this month. Black women have enjoyed record numbers in Congress, in part due to the Voting Rights Act. 27 black women currently serve as voting members of Congress and 2 in the U.S. Senate simultaneously, this for the first time in history. How will the gutting of the Voting Rights Act impact this, in your opinion?
The gutting of the Voting Rights Act, it's very clear that it was the first time in the U.S. that we had a multiracial democracy. We were able to gain all of these seats, black women and black people overall, as well as other people of color, because of the Voting Rights Act. And the one thing that people should understand is that a multiracial democracy goes hand in hand with black political power and building that. And you see that, and one of the things I highlight in my book, The Instigators, is that not only is black political power beneficial to black communities who have been long ignored and marginalized in the political process, but black political power, especially black women elected to public office, are more likely to pass policies that expand the social safety net, add investment and in infrastructure in communities that have been ignored, as well as healthcare and protecting voting rights and repro rights. We've seen that here in the state I live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, where in the last 7 years we've repealed death penalty, legalized marijuana, created a historic statewide Voting Rights Act to improve black and brown political power as voters and elected officials, and that's resulted in the election of somebody like Governor Abigail Spanberger. So if we are going to talk about building a multiracial democracy again, black political power is absolutely crucial to that project, especially if we want progressive political ideology to and policies to pass and thrive.
All right, Atima Omara and Jeff Timmer, thank you both for being with us.